10 Nights of Dreams Commentary. The Mystery of the Second Night. Why couldn't the samurai attain Mu? The paradox of madness and frustration. The white bear trap and the madness of the second night. Hello everyone. In our project to deeply analyze Natsume Soseki's 10 Nights of Dreams, this time we are covering the commentary on the second night. A complete turn from the tranquil first night that depicted eternal love. The second night is a story like a psychological thriller enveloped in a stinging sense of tension and a frustration resembling madness. In psychology, there is a famous concept known as the ironic process theory, commonly known as the white bear experiment. It is a phenomenon where if you are told, "Whatever you do, do not think about a white bear," the brain ironically ends up thinking of nothing but white bears. The samurai, the protagonist of the second night, was caught in exactly this psychological trap. The more desperately he tries to attain Mu, thinking of nothing, the more his mind becomes filled with the intense consciousness of having to become Mu. This time, through the figure of the samurai who was verbally abused by the priest and risked his life trying to attain Mu, we will unravel the mysteries of what exactly is Mu and how could he have attained enlightenment. Perspective 1. Why did the priest say, "If you are a samurai, you can attain it"? Early in the story, the priest throws these words at the samurai. You are a samurai. If you are a samurai, there is no reason why you cannot attain enlightenment. Why did the priest declare that if he is a samurai, he can become Mu, attain enlightenment? That is because the original existence of a samurai always lives side by side with death, and possesses the resolve to instantly discard any attachment, ego, to their own life when the time comes. As the saying goes, the way of the warrior is found in death. Severing the attachment to life is the very aesthetic of a samurai. A samurai capable of emptying oneself should be the closest to the Zen state of Mu. However, what about this protagonist? While sitting in Zen meditation, he shouts in his heart, "I will attain enlightenment. I must take that kettle head," the priest's head. Attaining enlightenment in Zen means letting go of the self, ego. Yet he is attempting to attain it using his pride as a samurai and his desire for revenge against the priest, the most powerful forms of self-attachment, as his driving force. He has fallen into a complete paradox, like being on a treadmill, where the faster he runs, the further he gets from the goal. So, what exactly was the Mu that the samurai was supposed to reach in the first place? The trap many people fall into here is treating Mu as the same as the mathematical zero. Humanity's discovery of zero was a highly advanced intellectual function that gave form and concept to a state of nothingness in order to recognize it. In other words, the state of recognizing that there is a zero is a state in which human reason is operating at full capacity. The samurai, too, used his high intellect to create a box called Mu, zero, and tried to force himself into it, thinking, "All right, there is nothing right now," or "I am maintaining a state of zero." However, at the very moment he is observing zero in his head like that, the intense consciousness of the self, observing it, already exists there. True Mu is a state where even the concept of zero and the self observing it have vanished. He tried to forcefully hack the Zen state of Mu, which requires letting go of intellect, by using humanity's powerful weapons of intellect and reason. Precisely because he tried to be smart and logical, he entangled himself in an absolutely unsolvable paradox. Perspective 3. How could the samurai have attained Mu? How, then, could the samurai have become Mu? The answer is simple: to abandon the very purpose of trying to attain enlightenment. During Zen meditation, he gets angry at the smell of incense, thinking, even though I said Mu, there was still the smell of incense. At this moment, it is precisely because he resists, trying to erase the smell of the incense, that ripples form in his mind. If there was a smell, he should have simply accepted it as, there is the smell of incense, and let it flow away. The moment he let go of the purpose of killing the priest and his honor as a samurai, simply accepting himself exactly as he was, he could have escaped the white bear trap and attained true Mu. Perspective 4. The Western clock cornering the samurai. However, he did not have the grace period to accept that. The man in the first night waited 100 years within the relaxed cycle of the great nature of the sun. However, what rules the samurai in the second night is the table clock chiming ding in the adjoining room. This clock can be interpreted as a symbol of the Western rationality and the speed of modernization that flooded Japan during the Meiji and Taisho periods. The samurai, who once lived within the time of nature, is cornered, frustrated, and ultimately destroys himself by the mechanical time carved out in minutes and seconds. Soseki's own suffering, his nerves frayed by the waves of modernization, may be projected into this depiction. Even as he tries to sever his 5 senses, the reality of the incense scent stubbornly pulls him back. And then, mercilessly, the clock chimes. While the man in the first night was released from the spell of time and kissed the lily, the samurai in the second night remained bound by the spell of the clock's chime until the very end, reaching for his dagger. It is the tragic end of a man who chased the shadow of Mu, a shadow that vanishes the moment it is put into words. This sounds almost like a sharp warning from Soseki to us, who suffer in modern society from inflated egos, constantly rushed with messages like, "Don't waste time," and "Be someone." How did you perceive the outcome of this samurai in his extreme state? Please let me know in the comments section.